just gonna play through a game or two and then talk about my thought process, and hopefully there are some strategies worth learning for maybe newer players. Okay, let's just go for it. When I see something interesting, I will pause. Okay, so something interesting here. We can look at this 4 and this 2. So let's look at this 4, right? 1, 2, 3. So we know the fourth mine must be in one of these two squares. So either here or here. But we can't have both, right? Because that violates this 4. So there's one mine in these two squares, right? So if we look at this 2, if there's one mine in here, then for this 2, the second mine must be here, right? Because it'll be like, this is the first mine for that 2. It's in these two squares. The second mine has to be here. Okay. We can keep chugging along. Oof. As you can see, I'm really not a pro. I keep making slip-ups where people probably wouldn't, but that's fine. Okay, so we can do a similar thing here, right? So for this 2, we know its first mine is here, so the second mine has got to be here. Either here or here, but we can't do both, right? Because that violates this 3. That violates this 2, because now there are 3 mines around it. So again, the second mine for this 2 is either here or here. So if you look at this 1, that means there's one mine among these two squares. And that actually completes this 1, right? So we can actually safely open this square because of this 1. Just to say it again, from this 2, we know that there is definitely going to be one mine among these two squares. So then for this 1, that 1 will be completed with the mine that's here. So this is definitely not a mine. So we can open it up. This is called the 1-1 pattern, by the way. This 2 is behaving like a 1 because we have filled one of its squares. So this is a 1-1 pattern. Okay. Very similar thing happening here. So we can look at this 3, right? And we know that here's its first mine, here's its second mine. So the third mine is either here or here. So there is going to be one mine among these two squares. Now we look at this 4, right? So here's mine 1, here's mine 2. Now we know that mine 3 is among these two squares. So therefore mine 4 has to be here. So this must be a mine. So 1, 2, 3, and then the third one is there. Okay, cool. We can also talk about a 1-2 pattern. So if we look at this 1, and this 2 here, right? Let's look at this 2 first. So there's 3 mines. There's 2 mines among these 3 squares for this center 2. Okay, can we have those 2 mines like this? We can't, right? Because that violates this 1. Now there are 2 mines around this 1 instead of 1 mine, so we can't have the mines be here. The way I like to think about it is this mine adds like a constraint on where the mines for this 2 can be. Right? Basically, this 1 tells us that we can either have a mine here or a mine here, but we can't have both mines be there. So now if we look at this 2, right? Now we know that there's only one mine among these two squares. So where is the second mine? Well, the second mine must be here, right? Because if there's only one mine among these two squares, so either here or here, then the second mine must be here. And this is the 1-2 pattern. So if you see a 1 and a 2 along like a flat edge like this, the mine is outside of the 2s, on the corner of the 2 here. And we can follow this through. So if we look at this 2 and this 1 together again, if we look at this 2, right, we know that there's one mine in these two squares. So there's one mine in these two squares. Now looking at this 1, if there is one mine in these two squares, then this square must be safe. Because this 1 will be completed by the mine that's either here or here. And in both these cases, right, this square will be safe. So we can open that up. And then we can play some similar games in this corner over here. So if we look at this 2, right, this 2, the first mine is here. Now we know the second mine for this 2 must be either here or here, right? So either here or here. But if we look at this 3, right, what that means is there's going to be one mine in these two squares. So this will complete the 3. This will also complete the 3. So these two squares must be empty. Again, we can count the mines for the 3. So this is the first mine for the 3. This is the second mine for the 3. And now we know that the third mine for the 3 is either one of these squares. So the 3 is done, so we can open these up. And that lets us move on from that corner. Okay, so we can do some similar things here, right? For this 2, there's one mine in these two squares. Now for this 2, this mine must be empty. To go over it one more time, for this 2, right, the mine is either here or here. And so for this 2, if you keep an eye on this 2, right, the mine is either here or here. In both cases, it completes the 2, so we can open this square. And that lets us fill out this 2 here. Cool, very cool stuff. Okay, we can continue moving along. Okay, so something I can do here is for this 2, there is one mine either here or here, right? So there's one mine in these two squares. Then if you look at this 1, like I said, like earlier, this is going to be safe. This must be safe because the mine here will complete this 1. And then this 3 becomes open for us. Okay. So I can open this square because of this 3 and this 2. If we look at this 2 and this 1, we can actually open a bunch of squares. So looking at this 2, right, there's going to be a mine in one of these 2 squares. So again, either here or here. But just like before, we can notice that this actually completes the 1, right? So if the mine was here, then all of these squares would be empty. If the mine was here, then these squares would be empty. So basically, because there is one mine in these 2 squares, if we look at this 1, there's one mine here, so all these 3 must be empty. Ooh, and that opened a lot for us. Okay, I have a good feeling about this game, but no! Okay, that's fine. That was a silly mistake. It's alright, we take those. We can keep going. Let's see if there's anything else I can talk about. So we use the same strategy here. There's going to be one mine in either of these 2 squares. So if we look at this 3, right, its first mine is here, its second mine is here, one of these 2 squares, either here or here. So the third mine must be here. Okay, we can do the exact same thing with this 3 and this 1. It's the exact same thing. So let's look at it. We have 2 mines in these 3 squares, right? So there are 2 mines in these 3 squares. Can the 2 mines be like this? They can't, right? Because of this 1. This violates this 1. So now we know that because of this 1, there can only be one mine among these 2 squares, like either this or this, but not this. So if there's only one mine among these 2 squares, then the third mine for this 3 must be here. So we can count it again, right? This is mine 1, and this is mine 2, like either here or here. So this is mine 2. This is the third mine. It must be there. And then we can open this because of this 3. So there's one mine here that completes this 1. So this 1 must be full. And then we can keep going and see what else we find. Okay, so for this 1-1 pattern, yeah, this is a 1-1 pattern. So again, we look at this 1, right? There's one mine in these 2 squares, either here or here. In either case, for this 1, we can open up this square, right? Because they basically share a mine. There's one mine in either of these 2 squares for this 1, so this square must be empty. Then we can open this 2. Onwards. Okay, so this little corner for us, there's one mine here, either here or here. So if we look at this 2, there must be a mine here. And again, this is like beautiful example of the 1-2 pattern, right? So for a 1-2 pattern with a flat edge, the mine is going to be outside the corner of the 2, like that. Okay. but I still had fun. Oh yeah, so the way I did that, it's a little bit too late now, but for this 2, there was only one line, either here or here, so then I could open that one up. Okay, I'm gonna have to guess here. I'll do that later. Let's see if I can clear the rest of the board. Nope. Okay, here I can do something simple like before. If you look at this 3 and this 2, right? So look at this 3 first. There's one mine either here or here. So there's one mine in these 2 squares. Now we look at this 2, right? So we can count the mines for the 2. The first mine is here. The second mine is going to be either here or here. So there's one mine here. Therefore, this space must be empty because this 2 is completed now. So we can open that up. And luckily it's a 1, which lets us do that. Oof. Sorry, I'm slipping up. Okay, so if we look at this 2 and this 3, if we look at this 3, right? Also, if this sounds repetitive, it's because it totally is. These patterns, like, they build on top of each other, and it's basically the same pattern over and over again. But okay, anyways, let's look at this 3 and look at this 2. So for this 3, we know that there are 2 mines among these 3 squares on the right, right? Can we have the 2 mines like this? We can't, because this violates this 2. Right now there are 3 mines around this 2 instead of 2. So therefore this 2 imposes the constraint, right? The constraint is that there can only be one mine in these 2 squares, either this or this, right? So there can only be one mine here. So let's count the mines for this 3. So the first mine is here, the second mine is either here or here, so the second mine is within these 2. The third mine then must be here. And we can carry this forward, we can carry this up. So if we look at this 3, again there's one mine here, right? Now look at this 2. If there is one mine here and the second mine is here, then this 2 is completed, so this will be empty. To illustrate that again, the mine is either here or here, right? If the mine is here, these 2 are empty. If the mine is here, this one is empty. So in both cases, this one is definitely empty. So we can definitely open that up. Okay, similar things going on here. For this, oh, never mind. Okay, let's just figure out this edge here. So this is a bunch of 1s, right? So this 1 and this 1. Again, for this 1, we know that there is a mine either here or here. So there is one mine among these 2 squares. Therefore, we can open this up because of this 1. So this 1 will be completed. This 1 will be completed by like this, by these mines here. So this is done. I'm gonna have to guess here, unless I'm being stupid. But I think I'm gonna have to guess, so I'm gonna leave that. No! I made a careless mistake. But, okay. Hopefully that was instructive. I might stop here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop here. Oh no, okay, I'll do this game. And then, see if I can solve it. I'm panicking. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna stop here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully some of you learned something. And feel free to point out any mistakes that I made or smarter moves I could have made in the comments. I'd love to read those. Okay, that's my video. Thanks for watching.